Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, I want to talk about more Toronto Maple Leaf news from training camp, but I also want to specifically narrow it down on one player. These are the lines from scrimmage today, Friday, January 8th, and you'll notice that Travis Dermott is on a D pairing with Rasmus Sandin. And the third pair is looking like, at the moment, it's going to be Mikko Lehtinen and Zach Bogosian. And that's cool. I'm a huge fan of Zach Bogosian. I really love what he's going to bring to the Toronto Maple Leafs. His penalty killing unit, he's very, very good on the PK, and I would trust him to play as many minutes there as the Maple Leafs would possibly need him for. No matter what you thought of Cody Ceci last season with the Toronto Maple Leafs, he played the most amount of minutes on the penalty kill shorthanded out of any of their defensemen, and with him leaving in free agency, those minutes were up for grabs and they needed someone to replace him. And a lot of people that would prefer Bogosian in the lineup on a regular basis over a guy like Travis Dermott would prefer that because Bogosian is a big-time bruiser, and he just came off of winning a Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Maple Leafs don't have a lot of big-time bruisers, and Travis Dermott, it's no secret, is a guy who relies on his skill and his skating a little bit more to be effective. But I would be really weary replacing Travis Dermott with Zach Bogosian on that third pair, because if we're looking at the advanced analytics and the D pairings that Zach Bogosian played on over the course of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the only D pairing that produced a positive result was the one that he played on with the eventual Conn Smythe winner, Victor Hedman. And if you're looking at the goals against per 60 for this D pairing, in 152 minutes at 5-on-5, this D pairing did not allow a single goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning over the course of the playoffs. No wonder why they kept going back to it, but there is a certain level of luck that plays into that, of course, and I mean also Andrei Vasilevsky and Victor Hedman being the amazing players that they are. How much of that do we want to attribute to Zach Bogosian, though? There's only one Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman that I would trust on the penalty kill more than Zach Bogosian, and that's Jake Muzzin. And that has a lot of value, of course. That's very important. But this player at 5-on-5 over the last couple of seasons, mind you, he hasn't played for the greatest of hockey teams over that span. But even with the Tampa Bay Lightning, he has not produced positive results except for when he's played with Victor Hedman. And I don't know how much that's saying. When you're looking at these two players over the last few seasons, yes, Zach Bogosian has played a lot in the defensive zone against tough competitions. You have to keep that in mind when looking at these numbers and comparing him to a guy like Travis Dermott, who over the last 2 years is the exact opposite, has spent a lot of time in the offensive zone against weaker competition. But Travis Dermott at 5-on-5 is a lot stronger than this player, especially when they're competing for a spot on the third pair. I will admit it, Travis Dermott was given every opportunity to prove that he can handle more responsibility last offseason, and he flubbed it. And that's reflected in the 1-year, $874,000 deal that he received from the Maple Leafs this past offseason. He just turned 24 years old this past December. He will be an RFA, and I mean, hey, he doesn't really play very much on the penalty kill or the power play. He needs to show that he can handle more responsibility at 5-on-5. Otherwise, I support the notion of replacing him with a guy who's a special teams specialist like Zach Bogosian, who can be very effective on the penalty kill. I will sacrifice some at 5-on-5 to get more on the penalty kill, which is, again, very important. And that would be a damn shame, because this is a guy that we've all rooted for to succeed over the last number of years. He's a Toronto boy. He absolutely loves playing here, and he's been one of the better players that the Maple Leafs can rely on to handle the puck in transition. Travis Dermott is what I would consider to be a new age defenseman. After the two-line pass was eliminated, you can no longer concede the blue line and just worry about playing defense in your own zone. You have to be good at both. You have to be good at defending the blue line. You have to be good at playing in-zone defense, and you have to be good at getting the puck out of your own zone. Travis Dermott does 2 out of those 3 things very, very well. The other one, when it comes to in-zone defense, he's not very good at. Zach Bogosian is absolutely miserable at defending his own blue line and moving the puck with any sort of effectiveness, but what makes him so good on the penalty kill is that you're spending a lot of the penalty kill in your own zone, and he is very good at playing defense in his own zone. Which is important. It's very important. It's one of those 3 things that I said earlier were important. But if you can't move the puck and if you can't defend your own blue line, you will get burned. Which is why I wanted the Maple Leafs to play with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, because it allows you to shelter Zach Bogosian at 5-on-5, use him exclusively on the penalty kill, give him all the important minutes there, and it allows you to get that more effective 5-on-5 defenseman in Travis Dermott into the lineup. But hey, maybe the Maple Leafs think that Mikko Lehtonen is going to be so good at defending his own blue line and breaking the puck out of his own zone and carrying it through the neutral zone and transitioning from defense to offense that they figure that they can sacrifice a little bit of that and get Bogosian in the lineup in favor of a guy like Dermott and have that snarl and grit there instead. Having Bogosian play with Lehtonen means that Lehtonen will know that Bogosian is going to stay back, and that will allow Mikko Lehtonen, or the Finnish Bobby Orr, as he's pegged as coming over from the KHL, to play a more offensive style of game. But I would hope that the Maple Leafs would just try to develop Travis Dermott into that guy and simplify his game by saying, hey, in this situation where it looks like a 50-50 situation that you can pinch or get back or hold the line, just get back. Let Mikko do the work. Travis Dermott is not a small guy either. He's 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds, and I really like the way that he boxes guys out sometimes, especially off the rush or in his own zone. He can be gritty. He can show snarl. He can be that agitator that the Maple Leafs so desperately need in their lineup, but not on a consistent basis. That's the next step for his game, is gaining more consistency. And it's the reason why I'm advocating for this player so passionately, is because I really want him to succeed. He was a homegrown drafted player from Toronto, loves being a Toronto Maple Leaf. I want to see this guy succeed, but the more opportunities that we've been giving him over the last couple of seasons, the more it's kind of showing us that this player might not turn out the way that we want him to. He's just 24 years old. I really don't want to see the Maple Leafs give up on this player just yet, but they've been giving him all the opportunities, and he hasn't really taken it and run with it. So I think this might be Travis Dermott's last chance this year. But like I showed earlier in the video, this player is still going to be a restricted free agent at the end of this year. The Maple Leafs still do have control over this player. If he doesn't take hold of an opportunity this year, well, he's more than likely going to be cheap next year. Seattle might overlook him. He could still be a valuable depth option for the Maple Leafs moving forward, but it's going to be hard for him to get out from the outside looking in, especially when that's been another year of development for guys like Timothy Liljegren and Rasmus Sandin. Other guys are going to push him out eventually. And I completely understand why. And I just wanted to make a note of it because I think that Sheldon Keefe made it a little bit more clear on Joe Thornton's role on this team. I said that all of Joe Thornton's shifts will be with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, but not all of Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner's shifts will be with Joe Thornton. And on days where Joe does need an off day, they will slot Zach Hyman back into that top line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, and Wayne Simmons would move up and take Zach Hyman's spot on that third line. Whether this is right or wrong, I thought it was interesting that Sheldon Keefe said that their intentions last year were always to move Zach Hyman off of the top line. But every time they did, someone would either get injured or hurt, or the chemistry just wasn't there, so they always had to resort to moving Hyman back onto that top line. So I want to end the video off on this note. Talked a lot about Travis Dermott, but I think that this will transition very nicely into the next video that I want to do here on the channel. If the Maple Leafs, like they've let it be known, want Zach Hyman outside of the top six and playing in a more defensive role on that third line, and maybe a guy like Joe Thornton can't go every single day, does that open the possibility of maybe adding another forward in and around or before the trade deadline that can make some sort of noise in the top six? Or do the Maple Leafs already have that player in their organization and it's just a matter of if and when? Make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, remember, this season's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.